and gentlemen, welcome to this segment of the IELTS speaking module. You want to ask, why the beating of the drum? Yeah, that is to gather every IELTS student everywhere across the globe to this all interesting class. Okay, I'll be reacting to a video that caught my attention. How a young lady, pulled a stunt in answering the examiner's question, part 1, part 2, and then part 3, and then we'll be analyzing it as we go on. Okay, now take a look at this video.
About the mountains. Do you like to go on holiday in the mountains?
Definitely. It's one of my favorite things to do. I actually love nature and the mountains specifically. Like, I always handpick locations which have mountains and like a beautiful landscape, greenery, and I love hiking as well, so that's why.
Are there any hotels in the mountains in your country?
Yes, actually, in Himachal, they have lodges. They rent it out to people who are there on vacations, and it's the most beautiful experience because you get to actually see how people who are based there, how they live and how they cook and how they clean. And
okay, look at those two questions that were asked her. Do you like to go on holiday in the mountains? The way she answered showed in the affirmative that she likes or she loves going, holiday in the mountains. No beating about the bush. Look at the way she answered with an adverb. Definitely. Most certainly, apparently, obviously, of course. That is to show your excitement, that is to show your willingness, that is to show, your interests, in the subject matter that is asked you. And almost immediately in that same line, she was asked by the examiner, are there any hotels in the mountains in your country? Not saying, I don't know. It's a no. Even if you are not aware of that, information, but the way you present the answer, I'm not certainly sure about that, but with fact I've got, I could say this, that. And of course, she presented it so well. Now, look at the other questions asked her.
get the whole experience of everything.
Now let's talk about trees. Do you like trees?
Yeah, actually, I love trees. I love spending time around trees. When I look at a tree, I feel very alive because there's just so much history that goes with it. Especially like you get oxygen, so when they're meditate, it's like the best feeling in the world. You feel very refreshed as well.
Are there many?
Okay, now question 3. Do you like trees? If it is no, I'm not a fan of trees. Don't have penchant for trees. I'm not a liker of trees. Trees are not what I fancy. That is if you're on the negative side. But if you're on the positive side, do you like trees? Of course I do. Of a surety, I do. I'm a fan of trees. I'm fanatical about trees. Straight to the answer. Let's say the next question. It said, are there many trees around your hometown? Now, if you have an idea to that, of course, you put your answer straight. For all you know, there are quite a lot of trees in my hometown. They range from the roko tree. You mentioned quite a few. Mahogany tree, Upipe tree, and the likes. And if there are not many like that in your hometown too, you put the answer to not too sure abandonment of the trees, but I scarcely see trees around us. I hardly see trees around us. What I see more are flowers, that are less of a tree, ornamental plants used to beautify the area. Straight to the answer. The examiner knows you know what you are doing. All right. Now,
trees around your hometown?
There are, but not so much as of now because it's mostly city and buildings and shops, but I would love for it to be.
What are the benefits of planting more trees?
There are only benefits of planting more tree. I mean, it protects you from so many things, and how much you held to have trees around you. Also, I think for planting.
What are the benefits for planting more trees? The examiner asks. Since according to you, there are hardly trees in your hometown. That is, trees are scarce. There is a scarcity or scarceness of trees in your hometown. So what are the benefits of planting more trees? Either based on scarcity, or you want to increase the numericity of those trees. And of course, she began to answer well. Trees are for medications. Trees helps to beautify the environment. The interaction with nature, particularly trees, could have a positive impact in longevity of people living around that area. The benefits cannot be overemphasized. More to that, according to her, they are meant for food. They are sources, of food, and of course for habitation. You use them to do so much resources coming from the benefit of having to plant more trees. Let's move further.
Plantation, even for food and to get fresh and vegetables, you can always put a label outside of your home if you just have like planted trees around you.
About the weather, what time of year did you enjoy most when you were a child?
I would definitely say November, December, so like end of the year, when winter arrives, or even during September, October, rainy season. I enjoy my.
Okay, what time of the year, or what time of year did you enjoy the most when you were a child? So the examiner expecting you to specify, give specificity to the time of year when you enjoy most in your childhood, stage. We have periods like December, usually festive season, depending on where you reside in any part of the world. Of course, for us in Africa, December is this period where everywhere is celebration and blazing. You turn to your right, you turn to your left, all manner of festivities here and there. Even in sports is a time when you have the African Cup of Nations and so many things like that. So if it is rainy season, of course you put it up what particular time of the month and all that, of the year and all that. And that is how she answered, and she gave reasons why she loved that particular period of the year. Of course, as a child, that is when parents have to buy you your best clothing, your best wear for the year to go for any festive occasions. Okay, and her answers were quite straight. Let's go to the next question.
Myself the most, I think, because I love when it's cold and chilly and you can just go for a walk or play outside with your friends. I think that's when I enjoy it the most.
Has the weather changed much in recent years?
I would say drastically yes. It's gotten hotter and humid. I think because of warming, it's been really bad lately.
Would you say the weather...
Okay, so he asked, has the weather changed much in recent years? And of course, she answered quite intelligently, Um, obviously, there have been changes as a result of global warming here and there. The heat has increased drastically, when it comes to period towards the end of the year. There is this um, dryness that comes in, especially for those living in Africa as a continent. But this time around, the heat has increased. The water area, has beginning to dry up. Um, those water pools that people go to enjoy, they are no longer there any longer. And of course, you see, any little thing could spark up fire, as a result of change in weather. All right, that was an intelligent answer. We check out the next question. It says, would you say the weather in your hometown is suitable for working? Now let's hear the way she answered.
in your hometown is suitable for working?
I mean, on December, yes. Throughout the year, very, very back in India, it's like get out of the you just don't feel your best. TV documentary, watch documentary, the artist
Okay, we move to the part 2 of that speaking test here. She was asked to describe a TV documentary she had watched, that was of a particular interest. In this period or in this stage or at this point, you discover that you apply your descriptive skills. At this point, you must know how to describe things. It's different from when you are narrating. The first part is like the narrative part, or you may say the expository part. But in this case now, you're going to be describing and doing a little bit of exposition as well. So it will be more of description, description, description. And of course, in that question, there are things you expected to say, like the question put to her, to describe the TV documentary. Here, you must mention what TV documentary it was, why you decided, to watch it, and what you learned during the documentary, and explain why the TV documentary was particularly interesting. Now, take note that while you are describing, your tenses should be in the past tense because it was an event that had occurred in the past. Now, watch the way she pulled the answers to this question.
He goes by the name Marshall Mathers, and I remember I was very young when I watched it, and the reason I love it is because it's very inspiring, because in the movie he shows all of his struggles and the poverty that he went through, and he was very unfortunate as a child, and even when he was a teenager, he had go how much determination he had towards his dreams and his plans and goals for the future. He knew that he was going to make it big in the music industry, and now to be one of the biggest musical artists in the industry. I learned inspiration from that movie. It gives you a lot of motivation every time you watch it. It goes to show that, no matter what, no matter where you're from, no matter how your hometown or how many goals you had in life, but still you can make it big. And it also goes to show that you have to be passionate about what it you want in your life, and through that achieve things, you can surpass even your highest levels of insecurities and doubts that you have and the fears that you have. And he's also like one of my favorite artists. So see him go through that inspires, shows you that you can do it no matter what it is, that it's yourself that keeps you from chasing your dreams, achieving your goals. But in that movie, it's shown that you can really do whatever you want.
So we've been talking about a TV industry. Watched them. Continue to talk.
Okay, you listen to the way she answered that question, talking about a guy named as Eminem, a globally renowned music artist. Of course, he came into limelight, I think in the early 2000, and so that caught the documentary about him caught her interest. He was so unique to her. And then in the documentary about Eminem, she observed he came from the doldrums, he came from the ghetto. He was apparently a nobody, someone you wouldn't give a second chance to explore the innate potential talents, you know, resident in him. But as she watched on, she learned some great traits about the guy, how the guy, you know, climbed through the ladder, how the guy exploded into limelight and then caught the attention of the world and became a big fish, you know, in the music industry and of course globally. And she learned so much from that. In her, you know, explanation, it showed that somebody shouldn't allow his or her background to put him to the ground. No matter the challenges, let them be a stepping stone, you know, to greater heights. That means you must have a positive mindset, you must be focused, and you must be determined. So, with these traits, Eminem was able to blow the minds of people and then pull all its doubts aside. And today, he's a global celebrity. And so, no matter what you decide to achieve in life, you can achieve it regardless of the challenges. And so, with this, we move to the part 3 of this test and see a few of the questions again. The examiner threw at her and how she intelligently, answered.
With TV programs and TV advertising, do you think that there are too many game shows on TV now?
And to remind everyone to have fun, and soaps or maybe beauty products are mostly what's advertised, or also electronic appliances are very much advertised in my country.
Do you think people pay to advert? If you are in the spirit also. Let's start off by talking about the mountain. I'd like to go on holiday.
All right, so in the part 3, questions like do you think that there are too many game shows on TV, nowadays? Of course, she answered in the affirmative. Yes, there are too many game shows on TV nowadays. Without mentioning those game shows, you could just generally classify them like the betting game shows, casino game shows, football game shows, and sport game shows generally. He asked again, is TV the main way people get news in your country? I believe this applies to virtually all countries that have satellite. TV is usually the main way people get news in most of these countries. And then he went on to ask what kind of products advertise most often on TV. And I think she's She's an Indian. Yeah, she's from India, of course, an Indian. So she said most of the products on the TV are usually household, items, and then utensils, and not far-fetched, talk about electronics as well. Those are the kind of products that are done the TV. And then he went on to ask, do you think that people pay attention to adverts on TV? Yeah, people do, but not as much as the advertisers would expect. As in, it is just fair interest, fair in interest. Sometimes when these adverts are played on TV, they could take a whole lot of 5 minutes, and then you sitting down watching an advert for 5 minutes gets you bored and all that. And so you always want to scroll to another TV station and then for other interesting things, or you just want to fast forward, the program. And finally, ask, how important are regulations on TV advertising? A very, very important question there. And of course, she pulled up with an intelligent answer. Of course, for every TV advert has to pass through regulations, and then that is very important. If not, there'll be all manner of adverts here and there. The ones that are not meant for children would be on the screen, so they have to be regulated. All right, so this is the end, where we'll come to the end of this twin class. That was apparently an excellent way, if you may ask me, of pulling answers to those questions. Very calm, quite fluent. She was well composed. Her grammatical expressions were, she nicked it. And of course, not surprising, the examiners called her a band 9. All right, so when you prepare next for your speaking skill, you could take a cue at the way she had answered, and I trust you too, you would get that band 9. Okay, enjoy yourself and take good care of yourself. Take care.